and a warm welcome to my talk show, Teteateteatsuveespowermeet, in collaboration with Yellow Spider Events. Today is Sunday, yay, and it is Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all you super dads out there. And yes, for me, it is a very special day, 20th June, because that's my younger son, that's Krish Mendonsa's birthday today, and he turns 21. So I'm totally elated and excited. Oh, well, I hope you guys having a great Sunday ahead. And to add on to your happiness, to your joy, to your fun, and to also your excitement, we have got a wonderful guest today on my talk show. As you all know, every Sunday we try to get a youth who has been doing brilliantly for himself, or who has started a startup, or is amazing where arts and culture is concerned. Today's youth is, and I would say he's an amazing person. I was going to tell him amazing boy, but I restricted myself and I said amazing person because he's all of 22. And he is come up with this amazing startup, which is called WorkEx Bootcamp. He's the co-founder of it. And to tell you more about him, he's been brilliant at his academics. And in his ISC, he topped it where in our city it was concerned, and in India he stood fourth. Okay, that's brilliant. He went further on to study abroad, to do his management at Singapore, a university in Singapore. There also he really did brilliantly for himself, got a wonderful honor out there, and graduated. And he also did a stint at Harvard. So without much ado, let's get this young 22-year-old for whom leadership comes naturally, and an ace student, and let's see what he has in for us today, what in store for us today. What are we going to hear from him? All about his experiences. Well, without much ado, let's welcome Vedant Podar with a big round of applause. Even though it's virtual, you all can keep on clapping, and welcome Vedant Podar.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Dr.Suhani. Good evening to all the participants who are watching. Thank you so much for having me here and for this opportunity.
Absolutely, anytime, Vedant Podar. In fact, we are really thankful that you came on our talk show. That's Teteateteatsuveespowermeet in collaboration with Yellow Spider Events. So, are you ready for a conversation? Yeah.
Definitely. Always fun conversations with you.
Yes. So we've got a whole lot of people joined us. We've got my husband Vivek Mendonsa joined us. We've got Anisa joined us. Hello, Anisa. So sweet of you to join. Well, so getting talking about Vedant Podar, as I said so much about you, and you've always been great where academics is concerned, and brilliant student, and done so brilliantly for yourself even in Singapore. Yeah. So iska raaz kya hai?
I think it's a combination of good genes and God's blessings. Nothing more. I think.
Okay. That's very.
I think I attribute a lot of my success to the encouragement which my mom and my dad both have given. During the long nights, mom was always very supportive, and dad has always given me the freedom to do what I wish, be it in academics or in professional life as well. And I think that combined with good genes from both of them and God's blessings has been a key factor in the driving the success forward.
So, Vedant, it's wonderful that you have started this startup of yours, which is WorkEx Bootcamp. But it's really always, I was always wondering that, with the kind of experience that you've already had where your work is concerned, did you ever think that, and especially with the Podar name, being there with you, did you ever feel that, did it even cross your mind that, you wanted to do something where production was concerned, or where manufacturing was concerned, or where services was concerned, Uh,
I think that's a very interesting question. To be really honest, since our family does have over 100 years of experience in education,
right.
because we started off as a group in 1921 in the education space, I think we turned 100 this year. So I really, to be honest, wanted to take that part of the legacy forward, given that, over 100 years our brand has developed a sense of trust and quality in India. And being able to take that division forward and adapting it to the 21st century, given the tech disruptions which have come up, and making education business go from brick and mortar schools to something which is virtual online, and staying up to
Correct.
date while providing opportunities to students across India and globally in the future as well, was more something which I was looking at rather than stepping into another sector altogether.
Right.
I
Right.
think, of course, in the future we don't know what may happen, but for now, I think education is a good way to go and to start off.
That's amazing, Vedant. It's really great that I really like the way your thinking is that you have this wonderful legacy of a century, and that to being in education, and why not do something more in that? So, I really want to ask you. I know it's a family run business and things like that. So, did you ever feel the pressure? That
Oh,
because being I know I don't want to put you in a spot. The reason why I ask you this, I'm going to even tell you that what happens is normally I've always seen the youth. We deal a lot with the youth, and I've always seen them that they're so excited at this point in time that they want to do something on their own. They want to show the world that they can do something on their own. And the minute, even if they have a family legacy like yours, or if they have their family business, they are not very keen on going towards their side because they feel that there is already the senior members are already there. They have their set ways of working. How are we going to, break into this? So, please tell us your experience.
that's a very interesting question. I think you posed. I think there are two sides to this. Of course,
Yeah.
having a business with such a legacy in the family does come with a lot of expectations, given that they expect me to take it over, be the next male generation heir, etc., and go into the business and take what they have built so well across the years
Yes.
forward. And
Yes.
our forefathers, my dad, my grandfather, everyone has been so involved in taking the business ahead at each step. And I think more so than the pressure, it's something which I should really be grateful for, because they have worked so hard over this period of time to develop a brand and a reputation which they've given me to use on a platter, which is something which is amazing. Honestly, I think there are a lot of expectations which come, but there are also a lot of responsibilities which come with it in terms of how our brand stands for. It stands for trust, quality, like I said, and we must follow those brand codes when we take the business forward. And
Right.
throughout you were talking about the startups thing with children and stuff. I think I've been really fortunate, and I'm really
Yeah.
grateful that both my parents have been extremely supportive when it comes to any startup idea.
Right. Right.
Dad has allowed me the flexibility to look at any aspect of the business, and he's given me the flexibility to have my own team and
Right.
work with them in the way I want and take charge of this project. And as well as, even mom has always been very supportive and encouraged me at home. She's introduced me to a network. They've both connected me with
Wow.
fantastic people like you and Bhaiya as well. And it's more than the pressure. It's, I think, the support system which they've given me has really made it's made that pressure much easier, I would say. And getting into the business was more like
Excellent.
a delight and an opportunity than pressure.
Oh, that's the wonderful. It's really wonderful talking to you and getting to know your thoughts, Vedant. Really, really brilliant. Big round of applause to you. Well, the thing that I really wanted to talk to you about, because you are 22, you have seen, the education system, that you've seen it in our country because you've studied here. Then you went to Singapore, and then you went first into Harvard. But don't you feel, because this is my personal feeling, maybe I may be wrong, I always feel that the way our education system in our country is, it is not ready for anyone to take up a job. It doesn't qualify them to take up a job immediately, especially if they have to have that dream job. You may qualify into whatever you are doing, in whichever stream you're doing. But I really feel that there's a gap, out there. So, do you also feel the same, Vedant, or what are your views on it?
I think definitely. I think one of the main aspects which you pointed out correctly is that that practical training which you essentially require
Yes,
for
the
a job
practicality is really missing. Yeah,
is
yeah,
something which I personally feel is missing to a certain degree in the education system right now in
right,
India. Of course, the education system here is very rigorous. It does prepare you to face challenges
true.
on the job. It teaches you how to deal with high pressure situations, and it does prepare you to a certain degree. But I think that practical aspect which employers look for is something
Yeah,
which students and undergraduates and masters students currently probably lack. Just to give you an interesting statistic which I read about, I think
right.
around last year, 47% of graduates were unemployed, which is a shocking statistic given
Very,
that
very
one
sad
in two
case.
students who go through college or go through a master's program come out and are not able to secure a job. And to think of
Right.
it from the perspective of the family which is invested in that education,
True,
where people
true.
go for college, go for masters, investing their savings, looking to secure a future for their families, etc. And right after you get a degree, you're told that you're not employable or you don't have a job. It's extremely, extremely disappointing.
Very
And
disappointing. Yeah.
I think there's something which needs to be done, and I hope that we at Podar and we as a firm at WorkEx Bootcamp can really help bridge that gap at some level, and change students' lives, even if we can do make some sort of a difference.
I'm sure we're going to see that happening very, very soon, Vedant. But yes, to add on to all what you said, then the pandemic happened. So that added on. People lost jobs. It was difficult, challenging for people to get jobs. So yes, very, very true. I think so. Uh, Going ahead and forward, I really would want to know, what was the trigger point of you getting that idea of starting this WorkEx bootcamp?
That's an interesting question. I think the entire process probably started for this bootcamp in around March 2020.
Right,
So that was essentially when the pandemic became severe in countries like US, UK, Singapore,
right,
etc., where we
right,
had me and my team coming down from our different universities, and we were all in the same time zone after a while, which was India. And we
right.
had been working with my dad on some project which he was working on. And during that period, we started, talking to a lot of people, be it students, be it employers, be it different business partners. And what we really found from talking to these students was, for example, they felt that they lacked that practical training in college, or they felt that they weren't getting employed as easily as they had wished. And then what we found from the employer's perspective was that, they were looking for graduates, but they found that the skills which a graduate should have is not the skills which the graduates of India are present, the uh, ones which the universities are creating. So that gap which was there, we really noticed during this process of talking to the customers, talking to the market. And over time, I think during the entire 2020, we were really looking at a way to help fill in this gap while providing students the opportunity to make the best use of their time in this pandemic, take on some different kind of a course where they would pick up the skills which are required to be more employable in this extremely competitive environment. And somehow we wanted to change this process where there were students who were coming out who weren't prepared for who weren't prepared for a job, and they were
Right.
suffering in the entire recruitment process where they weren't even getting callbacks after applying. And I think through this process and through the right network which we connected with, and through the online medium gaining so much prominence and acceptance due to the pandemic itself, we were able to make use of the situation, make use
True.
of the situation in terms of the pandemic, and online acceptance, which was probably something which I would say wasn't so looked upon, 2 years back. Because if I take you back to before the pandemic, a couple of years ago, people would be very against, online education. They would be like, we want to learn in a classroom, etc.
Right.
So that situation of online acceptance, coupled with the fact that this gap was already present in the Indian education system, and which was coming more and more in the forefront with the pandemic, was something which really helped trigger this idea to a greater scale. And with our firm's resources and with everyone's support, we managed to act on it and come up with a suitable product which we feel can really help make a difference in this aspect.
Excellent. That's absolutely wonderful. So, Vedant, going ahead and asking you more about WorkEx Bootcamp, if you could tell our viewers, how does it, I mean, how does it work? How, if somebody wants to register, how do they register for it? And if they register, what are the various courses that you are giving them? Do you have different courses of different time periods? And at the end of the course, what is it that is their achievement, after finishing the WorkEx Bootcamp? If you could please
Yes,
share it with us.
definitely. So I think the WorkEx Bootcamp was a course which was created in partnership with three institutions. The first one being IRR Advisory Fitch Ratings, which is an American multinational credit ratings company in the finance field. The second one being Podar Enterprises, which we told, as discussed earlier, is a company with 100 years legacy plus in education. And the third being Harvard Business School Online, which I'm sure everyone here has heard of. So what essentially we wanted to do was we wanted to create the next generation of CEOs and change makers in India. And shape students' careers, build their resumes, provide them with the hard and soft skills which employers are looking for, and essentially make them more employable to get that dream job or to get a job in the first place, like you stated earlier. So how we exactly go about this is we've taken three different elements from these three institutions and combined them in a very synchronized manner to form a bootcamp. So for example, from IRR Advisory Fitch Ratings, we've come up with a 2 weeks course which teaches students soft skills like Excel, PowerPoint, presenting, resume building, interview skills, etc., taught to you by professionals from Fitch who have over a decade of experience, and thus boosting the soft skills of students. Next, after that, we introduced the Harvard element of the course, where students have the flexibility of choosing one out of three courses which we offer. The first one we offer is called Sustainable Business Strategy, which essentially allows people to think like a CEO, get exposed to real world cases, and also to the concept of sustainability, which has gained so much importance in the recent times, and the awareness on sustainability has really grown. Secondly, we have a course called Entrepreneurship Essentials, which is basically to inspire people to be the next generation of entrepreneurs, where they're taught about how to ideate a business idea, how to take it to the next level, how to pitch to investors, and how to value their companies, and essentially that entire process of entrepreneurship from making your dream a reality. And then lastly, the third course we offer is business analytics, which is more a course to stay relevant and boost your skills. So this course is created with the objective of providing students the opportunities to learn how to deal with this data-driven environment and combat the challenges which it has created by picking up the skill of analytics. I'm sure you heard how analytics has grown very prominent in fields like finance, marketing, etc., and it's really disrupting the traditional jobs out there. And so this course really helps people pick up the skills required to face these disruptions and keep their skills relevant, like I mentioned earlier. So that's the Fitch element and the Harvard element. And to tie it all together, we've created a Podar Career Readiness Workshop, which basically allows students who are in the course to interact with each other, participate in an entrepreneurship and pitching workshop, allows them to test the skills which they have picked up across this time, and also gives them the chance to network with CEOs, HR heads, etc., and thus build their network, maybe use that as a platform to get a job, and take it forward from there. The sense is that this entire program is a short 2 months course, and we've made it flexible such that students and professionals can do it while they're doing college or while they're working on a job, due to the flexibility of our course structure. And we're looking at students who are above the age of 18. It's usually open because we've received interest from professionals as well who probably want to update their skills given the challenges of the 21st century. And we're looking for people who have a basic understanding of English. The eligibility criteria is pretty simple because we want to provide opportunity to all, be it in
Right.
tier one cities or be it in tier two cities of India. And how we want to, like, what we want our students or our participants, I would say, to achieve are essentially three things. Firstly, of course, we want them to pick up the hard and soft skills which the course is designed for, be it what employers are looking for, uh, be it just generic skills to keep them up to date with the trends, and go away with that value adding learning which will help them stand out in this competitive environment. Secondly, I think we
Wow.
want to boost students' resumes. Of course, this course is extremely unique in the way that it's a three certification course. So we're
Right.
offering like a student who participates in this entire program graduates with a certificate in from Harvard Business School itself, one
Wow.
from IR Advisory Fitch Ratings, and then the third from Podar Enterprises or the Podar Group as well. And thirdly, I think it's also about providing students and participants with that networking aspect where they get the chance to interact with other participants, they get the chance to interact with students from across the world because the Harvard Business School online portal allows students, for example, sitting in a tier 2 city to network with an Ivy League student sitting in the US as well. So that really helps, boost
Brilliant.
the networking
Yeah.
capabilities and, provide them with opportunities. And also we want to give students that feel of, the international faculty, the international experience while they're sitting at home, and no one better than Harvard to provide that. So
Yes.
essentially we want to, provide these three things, bridge that gap which you were talking about earlier between, what employers are looking for and what students possess in terms of their capabilities, and hopefully make a difference in students' lives and families' lives, and thus create more opportunities for the people of India and the coming generations.
Well, that was brilliant, Vedant. We really got a deep insight in the shortest possible time. We got a deep insight of WorkEx Bootcamp. I think that's really wonderful. So, all our viewers who are listening to us, please, I would really tell each of you all to actually go and have a quick look at what WorkEx Bootcamp is all about. Because if you want your dream job, if you want your CV to look absolutely wonderful, this is the boot camp you need to do because it is actually bridging that gap, and it's going to really, really help you in your future, right? So go ahead, don't waste time, just go ahead and look it up. WorkEx Boot Camp. As simple as that, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a Facebook page running as well,
Yes.
and a
Okay.
website which participants can check out whenever they feel like. Yeah.
So, if you could tell our viewers, what is the website called, Vedant, and if you could even the Facebook page is by the name of the course only. What is it?
Yeah, I think the Facebook page is called WorkEx Bootcamp. It
Okay,
has our logo on it, and the website link is straight away on the page as well as a contact number if you have any
okay,
questions. So I think that would really equip participants with, we have a brochure on it and we have a
right.
lot of details. So anyone interested can really find out about the program in more detail than what I have said right now. But
Yeah.
yes, thank you. Would love to
Wonderful.
connect with anyone who's interested, and feel free to ask any questions.
So you just have to be 18 plus and you can actually do this boot camp, which is really going to help you in your near future. So go ahead, don't waste time. Well, as I said in my introduction of Vedant, that leadership comes to him very naturally. We have already seen it. Is right here. So this brilliantly explained, Vedant, and really great to know, all what you are doing. But my last thing that I really want to know that, of course, you have graduated, and also, what about you? I always say upgrading is, I think, as we had the conversation before, of how upgrading is so important, right? So, Vedant, what about what is the next step that you are going to take, where you're graduation is concerned? Are you going to go for a further master's, postgrad? What is it that you're going to think about? Please do share with us.
I think definitely would love to do a master's in the long run. Like you said, upgrading is very necessary, and picking up those relevant skills.
Yeah,
Given how so many tech disruptions are happening day in day out with AI, ML, all these concepts gaining so much traction, it's very important to stay up to date. And I would love to pick up more relevant skills through a master's somewhere down the line, as well as build my own network, which is probably a great opportunity to do, and hopefully I get to pursue that. But I think in the short run, as of now, I would really focus on our bootcamp as well as our startup, because until I can have the faith that I can go to the States and still run the program from there in a seamless manner, and
yes,
still
yes.
provide the opportunities to students while I'm present there, I wouldn't think about applying for a master's or anything like that. So I
Yeah,
think for the short time to answer, I would probably be back home in India and focusing on the startup. But yes, a
yeah.
master is definitely something which I would want to do, in a horizon of maybe 3 years or 4 years down the line. Yeah.
Super. That's fantastic. We wish you all our very best for that,
Thank you
Vedant.
so much.
And this has been the most amazing conversation I've had, Vedant. It's really, really great having this wonderful conversation with you on my talk show, Teteateteatsuveespowermeet, in collaboration with Yellow Spider Ones. And as I always say on each and every of my talk episodes, I always say that please stay safe. It's very important for you to stay safe. Please think positive, and most importantly, if you've not got yourself vaccinated, please do that. And not only you, see to it that every family members of yours gets vaccinated, and even your staff, your helping staff, because I think that's extremely important today to fight this COVID-19. We have to fight it together. And if only together we can win it. So please do your bit. It's very, very important. And another thing, as I always say, if there is something worrying you, please don't keep it bottled up within you. Do find a friend who you trust, do find or your family member who you trust. Do communicate with them, talk to them, because by communicating and talking, you can find the solution. By keeping it bottled up within you, you're only going to harm your health, right? So do not do that, because in these COVID times, you need to be healthy, because if you are healthy, you can look after your family. So do that, right? And yes, this Sunday evening, have had the most amazing conversation with 22-year Vedant Podar.
Thank
An
you so much. Thank you
absolute
so much.
wonderful, as I said, he says that leadership comes to him naturally. Here we have a leader already amidst us.
Thank you so much for this
So
opportunity. I really
great
appreciate
having you. Wonderful conversation. And to all you wonderful viewers, thank you so much for supporting my talk show. And yes, we shall come back again next Sunday with another youth icon. And you're going to really, really uh, have fun listening to what they're going to say, and enjoy of how wonderfully they think of the future that they want to build. So very, very interesting indeed. Thank you once again,
Thank you
Vedant.
so much.
Thank you to all the viewers. I really wish all of you all are having a wonderful Sunday with your families. Stay blessed. And yes, before I forget, please do go on my YouTube channel. That's Dr.Suhani Mendonsa. Do like, do subscribe. It's very easy to subscribe. You have to just click the subscribe button. Yeah. And please do share and do comment. Comment is very, very important for us, because we would like to know your views, right? Thank you again. Thanks once again, Vedant. All the very best in all your future endeavors.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless
Thank you so
you.
much.
Bye bye. Have a great
Thank
Sunday evening with your family. Love you
you
all.
too. Thank you so much for this opportunity. The pleasure is all mine. And
Anytime.
thank you so much for also the amazing work which you're doing by hosting these talk shows and giving people the chance to voice their businesses or voice their concerns. It's
Thank
really amazing how you and Vivek ji do so much philanthropy all the time. Thank you so
thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. Very kind of you, Vedant. Thank you. Bye bye. God bless.
Bye bye.